Yo, yo, everybody. Hey, welcome to Hot Off the Press. Randy Rohde here, and I've got really excited to have Brian Winum uh, on the show, connecting with us. Brian, I actually kind of think this is the first time maybe we've met, or you may throw something out and completely embarrass me, and I'll think, well, I'm just an old, I'm like Joe Biden. I can't remember shit. But have we met before?
I don't think we've really kind of sat down and talked. We probably bumped into each other at a couple conferences here and there. That's about it, really. But we have never
Yeah.
had a conversation, so I'm happy to be here, Randy. Thanks for inviting me.
Hey, glad to have you. Yeah. Well, I feel, somewhat, you are working with that deadbeat Joe, so
Oh
there
yeah,
is,
man, I got some stories.
yeah. So there is a bit of sympathy that I have for you there
That
with.
that loud egg guy is kind of more of a strange duck than anything else, but it is what it is.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
it's tough finding
Uh,
people, good workers. So we kind of settled for Joe. It is.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, I know the feeling. Well, anyway, so folks, hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. If you please go ahead and give a thumbs up, give a like, and give us a follow. And Joe is like right there chiming in. Hey, hey.
There he is.
Good to see you. My man over there at Salterra,
Always be
Terry.
loving.
Good to have you, Terry. Good to see you, my man. Yeah. What is it? It's tough getting him his coffee.
Yep.
Do you guys actually? So I do want to hear a little bit about your background, obviously. So you have got. Let me throw this thing up actually as well. But you have an agency. Um, Let me push this on, show on the stream. Boom. You have got the agency Max Places,
Yep.
which is quite fun. And a movie back over here. Um, and Joe, I'm assuming, has worked with you over there. Do you guys have an actual office? Are you?
So we do. We actually have two different companies on in one. We have Max Burst Web Design. So
Yeah,
Max Burst is the web design and web development end of the business, and then Max Places is the digital marketing arm of the business. Same ownership, same employees. We do have a smaller office. Before COVID, we actually
okay.
had a full time office where we had maybe 20 or so employees working
Yeah,
in full
yeah,
time, and then 30, 40 employees spread out across the world.
yeah,
We did downsize after COVID. Once that was
yeah,
shut down, we closed down that office, and we have a much smaller space where just the partners get together maybe once a week, couple times a week, and that's really it. If we need to
mm,
meet with clients there, but that's really it. We for the
yeah,
most part,
yeah.
I'm working from home. 90% of the time anyway now.
Yeah, yeah. That is so funny you mentioned that because, hey, Jesper, uh, did the exact same thing. I think at the time when the pandemic hit, um, my office was in, uh, I can't remember. I think we were in a month to month. I think my lease had just run out, like maybe that March or April was running out. And then when the pandemic hit, we sent everybody home. Very similar. I had a much bigger space. And then kind of by June, I was like, I think I could get by without all of this. And so moved into a much smaller office suite. And yeah, but I like having an office. This office that I'm in is only like a mile away from my house. So sometimes during the summer, I just walk down here and use that mode of transportation. Makes it convenient as well.
Yeah.
But I like to get out of the house. I've worked out of the house before in the past. And I never really enjoyed that as much. So
No, I like to kind of gotta get out. I can't sit still in the house all day. Definitely got to get out every now and
yeah,
again for sure.
yeah. So, give us a little bit of background for those who may not be as familiar with you. I mean, you weren't always doing digital marketing. You kind of
Nope.
came in through another industry.
Yep.
But I'll let you tell your story. I'd love to hear your story a little bit.
Sure. So my college degree, that background is in the marketing and business management end of things. I did do a lot of, back then what was called computer science courses. So I did have that background, with some programming and stuff like that. But right out of college, I went into the insurance industry. I pretty much went to work for Geico right out of the gate. Uh,
Geico, the
yep,
lizard. Yeah.
yep, exactly. So
Gecko. No, what is it? It's not
yeah, the Gecko. Yep,
the gecko. Yeah.
yep. So I went to work for them right out of the gate. So they basically so they could pay for all my licensing. So
Nice.
they at the time they didn't hire externally for higher positions. You had to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Mm,
So it was good that way, in that they basically train you in everything. I got a lot of experience, working on the phones, taking inbound calls via customer service,
yeah.
doing sales calls coming in and things like that. So my first year, I was really on the phones talking to a lot of people, handling irate customers and the customer service end of things, doing sales. For some reason, I happened to win every sales contest that I was ever in over there. People just seem to trust me for some reason. But it gave me the kind of experience. It got me a little grounded in kind of the world of business for my, kind of get my feet wet for the first time. And then after that, I was elevated into an underwriting position. And that's kind of when I realized I wanted to eventually get out on my own. I didn't want to be stuck in a corporate world.
Mm,
Um, Geico had just been bought out. It went private again. It was public at the
wow.
time. It went private, and I got a whole bunch of money from my stock options at that time.
Good for you. Yeah.
So went into the agency world, the private agency world in insurance, really
Mm,
specializing more in the commercial end of things. Right, did the personal stuff with Geico, went into the commercial end of things. So I was dealing with a lot of business owners.
mhm, mhm.
Did that for several years, from agency to agency, always picking up new skills, working with different people, and eventually opened my own agency. And I did that again, did that for years, working with small business owners, helping with their insurance problems, helping with their issues, getting them up and running. And I always did my own marketing. I built my own websites, did my own marketing, and that's kind of really how I kept up with it. So I did that all through the 90s into the mid 2000s. Ended up selling my agency. Um, it was right after, not too long after 9/11, where some of my specialties were in the programs I ran were kind of in the trucking industry and things like that. And they really started cracking down on a lot of that stuff. Uh,
Mm,
Insurance rates were going through the roof. So it was a good time to get out. I had a no compete clause. I had to find something else to do. So I went to work with some friends of mine who had a whole network of online business directories.
mm.
So I'm going to kind of build that business up and get that up and running. And it was kind of the Wild West back then, where, for example, we had directories that were for pest control, the pest control
Right,
industry.
right,
So we basically run one PPC ad for the keyword exterminator, which was like a penny a click. And we
right.
tell people, hey, look, we're at the top of the heap for exterminator, all these other people, and they'd sign up left and right for, like, $250 a pop and this and that, everything else. And it was crazy, but I was able to kind of get my feet back into the marketing end of things. Eventually met up with my existing partners. They brought me on to help with business development at the time, and then eventually offered me a partnership in the business. It was kind of a little bit of sweat equity. Worked my way into that, and I've been there ever since the mid 2000s, working with them.
Yeah, so here you are,
Yeah,
and
now
now
we're
you're
working
and
along.
now you're like a master at. Yeah, I have a question though as well. So that was great. Thanks for sharing your journey, I guess, into digital marketing. Your experience, and especially in insurance, I'm curious. Do you feel like it kind of gave you, I don't know, a special insight or a leg up maybe in working with local small businesses? I mean, did it give you a greater empathy or,
It
I don't
did.
know, just insight into that? Because, now you do a lot of digital marketing for local small businesses, but I'm curious, do you feel like it kind of gave you a competitive advantage because you are serving that industry already?
Yeah, without a doubt, it actually let me um, figure out how to best kind of uncover the pain points within the industry itself. I mean,
Mm,
I had to know these business owners or industries inside and out to make sure they were protected,
yeah,
because otherwise it could fall back on me. I had my
right,
errors and
right.
omissions insurance, but I had to make sure I was protected. So I had to uncover every angle possible where they could potentially be hurt, or there would
Mhm.
be something that
Mhm.
could happen to them. So it did help me talk to the business owners, learn as much as I can about the businesses, learn about their different pain points and how to best protect them. And it's very, very similar to what we do now, reaching out
Mm.
to the agency owners, uncovering what their pain points are, figuring out how we can best serve them. And it definitely played a role in how I'm able to speak to these people and kind of,
Mhm.
you know, not sell them what they need, but work with them to provide them with what they need.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you guys mainly focus on? 'Cause I wanna, pick your brain a little bit maybe on some, things, but, you guys kinda, in going through the site, you do everything SEO and ads, it sounds like, as well. I think some of the stuff and maybe what I don't know, and this is just me, I guess, what I would associate you with the most is, content marketing and syndication, through content marketing. I guess give us a little bit of insight on Brian's world in content marketing. How do you approach that? What does that mean to you, actually? Uh, well, I won't get, I'll leave it at that, then I'll go off on another tangent.
Sure. So, Max Burst and Max Places, we're not necessarily niche down to a specific, industries or verticals or anything like that.
Mm,
For the most part, everything does come in via Max Burst, via the web design end of things, and then we funnel them into the marketing after that. Where we are certified Shopify partners, so we get a lot of e-com stuff coming in. So we do a lot of e-com
mm,
SEO, e-com marketing.
mhm, mhm,
A lot of manufacturers, aeronautical industry for some reason, people
mm,
find us. Um, we do less local than most other agencies for the most. We do national, we do e-com.
mhm,
Any
mhm,
of the local is kind of more white collar stuff like bigger um, medical offices with multiple locations and things like that.
mm,
So that type of stuff, and then not too much mom and pop stuff. That stuff is more, I guess, for old clients that we've had around forever. We kind of do as a favor for them, but for the most part, we do focus on the bigger stuff.
yeah,
Me
yeah,
personally, my love really is, I guess, I'm not smarter than anyone else out there. I'm just like anyone else. But I guess my strength is kind of problem solving more than anything else. Maybe kind of uncovering unique angles that we can use certain tools, certain strategies, or stacking tools and strategies that may not be, the norm to how other people are doing it. I've always
mm,
liked to play around with that and experiment with that. And it's kind of led me to kind of put together um, my own framework of how I build out websites, whether it's for myself, for my clients, affiliates, whatever it may be. Basically, stacking different techniques that I can kind of
mhm,
plug and play depending on what the need is. Like I said, whether
mhm,
it's an affiliate website, a client website, or whatever it is. And it really comes down to my focus being on authority, eat, and what I like to call catalyst content. So content that's really going to kind of move the needle for me right out of the gate, generate user interaction, and give Google what it's really looking for.
mm.
That's kind of really my focus, and it goes into everything that I do for myself and my clients.
Yeah, so you take an approach then is that you are hoping to craft some content that would be, I don't know, just to use the word viral, but, to kinda create good traffic to the site, to the page, to the site, and then begin kinda growing and exploding from there. Is that
Yeah,
kinda sum it up? Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
no doubt, no doubt. It's I have certain
Mm,
types of content, certain techniques I use that kind of allow me to really kind of get some traction right out of the gate, kind of get the ball rolling from day one, get immediate traction, immediate social signals, get me free backlinks, like I
mhm,
said, potentially go viral.
mhm,
I try to bake that into everything we do. Um, like I said, whether it's for myself, my client, or anything else. I started
right.
speaking about some of this probably about 5 or 6 years ago. I think Stephen Kang had thrown an event in Vegas, maybe 2019 or so,
Mm,
and that's kind of where a lot of people first, may have come across me in particular. Like I
okay.
know Terry was there, for example.
Okay.
That's kind of where we first bumped into each other and met. And I had first talked about a lot of my,
Uh,
building out Google News approved sites and that type of stuff,
yeah,
which
yeah.
really wasn't that big back then. I know Holly had heard me speak at that event and kind of picked my brain about a couple things, but that's kind of where it took off. Before that, it was kind of running under the radar.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, once Holly starts picking your brain on shit, like, "Uh-oh, this thing is gonna blow up," and
And it did, you take it to the next level. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what it is, building a
Uh,
better mousetrap,
yeah,
taking what someone
yeah.
else can show you and taking it to the next level.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. Well, I love that. I love that idea. I don't know, so I'm gonna flash this up here real quick. Bum, bum. I know coming up here in about another week, roughly, not quite, or a little
Yep.
more than a week, coming up here, you're gonna be in Miami with the boys,
Yes,
Merlino
sir.
and
Yeah, so
Brock.
not this weekend, next weekend, I'll be there.
Y Yeah, yeah, I had him on the show last week, and, yeah, I know, I
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, my man Brian is gonna be in Miami. Can you give us a little
Yes,
preview
sir.
of your topic?"
Oh, yeah, so I'm looking forward to the warm weather, first of all, and definitely
Oh,
the
yeah.
high energy of Brock and Leo. I'll have to raise my energy a little bit to keep up with those guys, but, I'm gonna touch upon a lot of my Google News and authority building strategies, my EAT strategies that I actually have a course. I launched a course, towards the end of last year, right around the Black Friday. So that's it,
Right there.
authority amplifier.
I know it. I
So this is kind
already
of
had it
my,
teed up, baby.
so this is kind of my labor of love, and I'm going to pull some bits and pieces from this and just talk about again that catalyst content, um,
Okay.
building up the building up the authority of these websites, and kind of these plug and play strategies that you can use no matter what type of site you're working on, whether it's like
Mm,
again like a client site, your own affiliate site. You're looking to do product roundups. You're looking to generate guest post income. You're looking to generate display ad income,
mhm.
whatever it may be. I touch upon it in this course and kind of show everyone over my shoulder what I'm doing.
Nice, nice. Uh, I wanna pick your brain a bit and, open it up as well. Hey, folks, if you have some questions for Brian, put them up there in the chat. Let's explore a little bit. You brought up Google News sites, and so I know kind of through the journey, we have a fairly in-depth network of Google News sites as well. Um, I'm back, I don't know, probably was kind of 2021, we started building these things out. Um, I would love to hear a little bit about kind of your approach. What do you guys do with the Google News sites? How do you use them to amplify? I guess, and maybe to use your word, catalyst, use them as a catalyst to help drive um, traffic and or site or backlinks potentially to maybe some of your projects that you're working on.
Sure. So it's definitely morphed over time the way I use them, the way I kind of approach them. Initially, it was kind of the old school approval process where it's a little tough to get approved. When I first started working on these sites,
Yeah.
maybe there was one YouTube video on how to get your site approved in Google News at the time, and it was from some guy with a heavy accent. I could never figure out what he was saying. So I ended up buying a couple new sites, reverse engineering what was working back then, this was 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was, and just kind of figuring my own way. So I always approached it as building out a news site is first and foremost. It's got to be a newsworthy site. I'm publishing news on there. Um, I make sure I have all the requisite policies in place. The privacy policy, the publisher policy, the terms of use, and everything else. Just making sure all that's present. Making sure it looks the part. So I usually use like magazine type themes or newspaper type themes, just to make
Mhm.
sure that it does look the part of a traditional publication. I'm building out either myself as an author, a real person as an author, or a persona as an author, and really kind of layering that on top of there, and really making sure that author has some substance behind them. They're published on different websites all over,
Mm.
and then I'm just making sure that again it really looks the part of a professional publication. So there was a sweep through Google News, maybe March, April of last year,
Oh,
where a lot of
gotcha.
people got bounced.
Yes.
I didn't lose a single site. I've never have. I've always got
Really?
improved.
Oh,
Never
man.
lost a single site just because of the way I approach it. I'm kind of meticulous with how I do it. I make sure all my policies are in place. I make sure they look the part. I don't
Yeah.
spam the hell out of them. I keep them under the radar in my own house, but I use them for everything. The way I approach it now is it's kind of my first layer of defense. Basically, I just want to build layers of trust with Google. So if I can, I'll start with a Google News approved site as kind of layer one. Once it's approved, I may switch the entire site entirely to scrap all the content that was approved in Google and make it the site that I want it to be. It's still
Right.
approved, but as
Right.
long as it still looks the part, there is some sort of news information on the website. It's
Right.
not going to get taken down. So for
Now,
now,
would you do like, let me ask a couple of questions in here because so I'm curious on this approach. So first of all, when you're building out sites, are you in mind with the client and thinking, okay, so this client needs, maybe niche relative. So I know you do a lot of e-commerce stuff. So are you building out something that's relative to an e-commerce site and can be used? And or once you get the site approved, then you swap it out. Then do you like go and hit it? So not that it's going to look like an e-commerce site, but that it becomes much more of a symbiotic kind of site for your e-commerce particular project.
yeah, 100% for e-commerce sites, for the most part, we'll end up building satellite websites that'll end up driving traffic to the primary e-commerce site. That's
Mm,
how we'll do it that way.
mm,
For other more informational sites in different industries, we will start with the baseline Google News site and just build it up that way and just layer on the content types that we need to satisfy the client requirements or my affiliate website requirements, whatever it may be.
mm,
But I've had great success, like I said, starting with getting it approved in Google News and then swapping it out to what I need to be down the road. As long as I make sure, hey, the authorship is in place, the policies are in place, it still looks the part. There is the new sitemap and everything else, and I'm not stepping on anyone's toes. I'm not spamming it to death, and it's worked really well. Like I said, for now, I kind of use it more for again that first layer of trust and indexing purposes more so than anything else. I'm not
mm.
generally getting a ton of traffic from Google News.
Right.
Um, I'm getting more traffic from Google Discover than Google News. The way you do certain things. So Google Discover is feeding me traffic. Google News is really more just a trust factor, and then I
Yeah.
layer in the author who is they're a Google local guide. They have Google profiles on every Google platform that you can think of. Everything's tied together via schema, and
Mhm.
they're published on other different websites, other different guest posting platforms all over the place, and just making sure that they appear as a legitimate author, and then I can leverage that for my catalyst content and really building up the website, getting the ball rolling, starting to get traffic in, and everything else. But that's how I do it nowadays.
That is now that approach, especially when you're talking about the author, I think is Uh, well, I'll say it's unique, but I think it's a very good point to make about that because the way that you just described it, so the author is not just on this Google site, but is on platforms and is posting across to others because that then establishes kind of the trust and credibility then for that author. So I'm sure that that is a significant factor why you've never had a Google News site clapped and shut down. So,
Oh
uh,
yeah, it was like I have these author profiles, pushed out on press releases and things like that.
yeah,
Making sure that their name there. I'm sending press releases to the author profiles. These authors have Amazon ebooks published under their names. Occasionally I'll get a little deposit in my bank account for 39 cents because one of these fake ebooks got sold on Amazon under one of my fake author names, and I'm living a life, getting money left and right, hand over
man.
fist.
Hey.
But building the credibility for the authors that way with via ebooks.
Yeah, yeah,
Now with AI, you can do podcasts and
Right.
the voices and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
a whole new world out there. We can kind of really build up the credibility of these author personas and
Yeah, that
get
is
'em out there.
crazy. That is a great idea about that. Off of, back of your hand, how many persona authors do you have?
Uh, Dozens and dozens and dozens spread across
That
the
is
board.
crazy. How do you even manage all of it? See, that's what drives me. I mean, we have a number as well, but managing all of that, appropriately is like, oh my God, that is just a
Well, I don't
nightmare.
rely on Joe, put it that way. Yeah, mostly, yeah, yeah, I think I keep everything via spreadsheets, via Google Sheets, and
Yeah.
when I build out one of the things I like to do is build out branded Google News networks. So, for example, I have
Mhm.
a network. It's a nationwide news network, and I'll build out a main U.S. based site, and then I'll build out a site for every single state. So it'll be like NY Daily News, US Daily News, and NJ
Right,
Daily
right.
News, MD Daily News, and I'll have,
Yeah,
52, 53 different websites in this particular branded news network. And each one of these websites has a different author, a different, chief editor for that particular website. So it's a lot to keep track of, but it works great. I think this is a big reason why I don't get bounced from Google News.
mm,
All these branded networks allow me to syndicate articles across the entire network using like main WP or managed WP
right,
with the push of a button.
right,
You can push a client guest post out to 50 plus websites,
right.
morning, no problem. I
Yeah,
can do an AI generated interview of one of my clients or an advertorial talking about one of my client services or something, publish it out on these networks. And I can have these branded networks in the legal industry, in the general news industry, in the finance industry, and really keep everything niche down that way and syndicate all my stuff, no problem. Keep everything in house.
wow. Um, I know that is just a lot of a project to keep straight, I think, on all of those author things. I think that's great. Um,
Joe wants to know if you're hiring, I guess, huh?
yeah, I know. I saw that. I didn't want to like, hey, maybe Joe is, on his way. Terry, I'd be cautious, by the way. Um, a Shopify. So you are, I think, what did you say? An authorized Shopify?
Yeah, it's our Shopify partner.
Okay.
Yeah, so they, we're listed in their directory. I think there's maybe a few hundred, if that, sites throughout the world that are Shopify partners like that at that level. So we're one of
Mm,
them. So they send business our way, which is great. And it's been a big boon for our agency getting that stuff in. We kind of had to build up that
yeah.
specialty. We didn't always do e-commerce, Shopify especially. We were kind of more the WordPress end of things. But over the past several years, we've definitely transitioned, kind of
Mm,
spread our wings a little bit. And it's been great for us.
yeah. That is just something that we have not, on my agency, we have not explored and really dabbled a whole lot in on Shopify. Several years ago, I kind of, as a side project, tried to do something, and and I did it. It was like a makeup cosmetic kind of site. I'm like, I don't know why am I doing that as a Shopify site? And so I lost interest in it quickly. But I really have not dabbled a whole lot with Shopify. And we have done e-commerce stuff, but we typically have done e-commerce like on a WordPress and using WooCommerce.
Right.
We built a couple of sites out on Magenta for e-com as well, but
Hate
not on
that.
Shopify. What's that?
Hate Magento.
Oh, I did too. It is the ugliest, but that's what a client wanted, and well, they came to us in Magenta and like, "Hey, I wanna expand this." I'm like, "Ugh."
Mhm.
But yeah, that, you don't see too many of those sites floating around these
Yeah,
days, but
thankfully.
yeah, no kidding. Um, Any secrets? Because I do know a lot of folks that are doing stuff in Shopify and doing e-commerce. Any tips you wanna give in, like, how to help, e-commerce sites fly?
So a lot of what we've been doing lately is it's very basic. I mean, make sure your schema is tight. Make sure your category pages are really optimized and everything else. Product description, imagery. It's more paying attention to CTR and the site structure itself, and all making sure all that stuff's taken care of. The CRO content, making sure everything's optimized properly that way. On the content end of things, I've been using a lot of like I said, my Catalyst content type stuff.
Mm,
Like, for example,
mm,
we do have a client in the beauty industry who sells products, and we just published a kind of a unique data study
mm,
that we're going to really start publishing and pushing out now. So one of the things we like to do in this Catalyst content, and this kind of stems from my view on how AI is kind of changing how we have to approach things. I mean, anyone could push out content at the press of a button nowadays. You kind of have to stand out for
yeah,
the
yeah,
crowd for sure.
right, yeah,
I mean, anyone can come in here and publish hundreds, dozens, if not hundreds of articles for an e-commerce website. So how are we going to make it unique? So a lot of the things I like to do stem from my kind of ideas on building out this Catalyst content, whether it's expert roundup type post or something like that, or these unique data studies. So one thing we've been doing, in the case with this particular client and all my clients and websites, is a lot of surveys, unique surveys that we're running. So
mm,
via Reddit and via Facebook groups, taking that data, taking the results of the survey, literally feeding into ChatGPT and saying, "Hey, what can we extrapolate from
right,
this? From these survey results? What points can we make? What can we build upon?" Okay, now take those points that we extrapolated, and build an article outline for me. Okay, now let's put this
nice,
article together and go from there.
nice,
So we're able to kind of not only use ChatGPT to brainstorm or whatever AI tool we're using to brainstorm the questions we're going to be asking based on trending topics,
right,
creating the survey itself, then taking that and extrapolating the ideas that we want to build an article based on that survey. So one of the things that's working really well and what we just did is, using there's tons of Reddit groups and subreddits out there that we can publish instant surveys. Basically, they're one question surveys. It's
mm,
just you give them a few options and they pick and choose. So we're just answering one kind of broad topic question in whatever industry we're working on. Get that data again, feed it into the AI, generate an article from there. And what we've seen work really well is actually embedding that Reddit post into the article itself, and it's really helped quite a bit. You've actually
meaning
seen
embed the survey question in the article?
the Reddit post within the article itself. Yep.
Wow,
Yep. So
yeah,
we're taking the data, we're building out a unique data study, building out an article
yeah,
that's completely unique that Google loves. We're embedding the Reddit post, the survey post itself, into the
yeah,
article, and then we may build out an infographic around the results of the
yeah,
survey or something like that. We may also get some expert feedback from some of the comments within the surveys and reach out to people to really you give us another comment that we can include in each articles and things like that.
mhm,
Then we're taking it to the next level from there and going to not Twitter anymore, it's X, but
mm,
going to X and using the journal request hashtag and finding journalists within that particular niche who may be interested in sharing that particular article, that particular data
yeah,
study.
yeah,
They're always on the lookout for some data or something to support whatever
yeah.
point we're trying to make. So that's working really well in the e-commerce end of things, and honestly across the board for everything we're doing.
Dude, that is fire right there. That was, like, serious knowledge bomb. I mean, because here's the thing that I love about that. One, it was simple, right? So you didn't
Yeah,
have, like, these multi-question survey and people are like, "Hell no, I'm not gonna take the time to do that thing." One question is great. Um, so, but I love the idea, and this is where I think, certainly you're using an AI tool to help, once you have the data. But you're not just using AI to, like, go create, like, "Hey, write an article about plumbing services in Cleveland," right?
nope,
You
right,
know, you are actually taking and this is where I think the secret sauce is and what you're taking actual raw data from actual people,
yep,
human input, and using that data to go build a piece of content around, and that's the stuff that absolutely, I think AI cannot replace that because it's not pulling the human data, the human interaction. And wow, that was fire right there. I don't know where we are in the show, 34 minutes. I'm like, dude, I got to make a snippet of that because that man, that is solid.
So, and that's kind of where I think it's going to go for people who are going to be successful in the SEO industry. Like Elizabeth said, it's thinking outside the box.
Yeah,
So I want to stand out from the crowd in this crowded world of AI. I don't want to be, you're publishing the same crap that everyone else is publishing. Just the generic chat GPT stuff. I
yeah,
want to feed it. I
yeah,
want to feed it unique data. One of the things that I started with initially that I did speak about at Stephen Kang's event, and I still do to this day. Um, and I talk about kind of using tools and methods a little differently than most other people did. We've all used Harrow before previously to generate backlinks
right,
for ourselves and our clients. So back then, what I was doing, I was getting my Google News approved sites into Harrow as the journalist end of things. So I was the one submitting queries for people to
hmm,
respond to me, and then I was using that to create expert roundup articles. So I'd submit a query on, hey, give me the best tips for marketing your dental practice in 2019 or 2020, whatever it was back then. And I'd have 20, 30 different people respond to me with their best tips and techniques. And I'd literally be able to copy them into a unique article published out on my Google News website, get indexed immediately. And everyone within that article would be sending me backlinks, would be retweeting me, would be publishing on their Facebook groups and everything else. So anything we can do to kind of generate some sort of user engagement is definitely going to help you stand out from the crowd nowadays.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and that's exactly what it is that you're trying to do is stand out in the crowd. I had to write myself a note. I'm like, God, that is such a solid tip. Uh, because there's so much content that is out there that is generated right now. I just think search is just a garbage dump right now with Google because so much crazy content that's been generated with AI. And I have to be honest, I'm a little nervous because, last week Sora was just kind of revealed. I mean, Joe flashed out a bunch
I
of
know.
stuff from Sora, and I looked at that, and I'm like, "Wow, that is really cool." And then about a day later, as I started seeing commentary from folks, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what is going to happen? People are going to be generating all kinds of these Sora." Just useless keyword stuffed kind of videos out on YouTube. They're just going to choke out all of the other all of really good content, I
Right,
think, and
exactly.
that's my fear anyway. I hope it really doesn't happen like that, but, um, God, that is crazy. Well, I love any other AI tools you're utilizing, in your particular world of magic?
So I love ZimWriter. I use that all the time for everything.
You and Joe, what do you guys got like a three-way going on with, Zimmer?
Yeah, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting up with Matt Zimmerman. He's going to be down in
I was
Miami.
gonna say Matt's gonna be at in Miami with you, so geez, I hope you guys get a room, right? And
Yeah. Content Sprout's another one. Fantastic.
mm.
Um, Again, not just the standard chat GPT stuff or your Gemini stuff, but
That's Andrew, right? Andrew
yep,
Ansley's
yep,
new product. Yeah,
yep.
I've just have played around with it just briefly, and I haven't gone all in to try to create something spectacular with it yet. But it's a good approach. It's a very cool approach to it.
Yeah, super impressive. Smart
Yeah,
kid. I
yeah,
remember
smart.
meeting him at Stephen Kang's event. He was just kind of getting his feet wet, and
Uh,
now he's kind of blown by me at this point. I tell him he's a better SEO than I've ever been. So he knows what he's doing. So if you got to play around with another platform, Content Sprout's the one.
Yeah, just a quick side story with Andrew. I think I met him at, Terry and some folks had an event, Mastermind Mansion, that
Mm.
they were doing, and they had one. I think this is where I met Andrew. I I think it was in New Orleans that he was at. It might have been the next one in,
Nashville.
Nashville.
Well,
Were you
that's where we must have met.
is that where you were? Yeah, the jeez,
That's
see?
where we bumped into each other the first time.
I'm like a dawdling old man now. Yeah, like, yeah, so in Nashville, and that's where I met Andrew, and
Mhm.
I think I talked with him more about his whiskey and bourbon project that he was doing than I did really about, 'cause I love bourbon, and so it was like talking to him about his bourbon project, but that's a real side story over there, but, yeah, he's a smart guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on. All right, so content spread. Anything else, that you're, leaning on?
Yeah, just the usual Midjourney, ChatGPT, Gemini, everything else. But most everything in my case starts with ZimWriter, especially when I'm building out my own affiliate projects and things like that.
Mm,
I just love that tool for ease of use and just the many different options they can give you.
mm,
You're being able to create your own custom magic commands and things like that. So it works great for my uses.
mm.
Bulk content, publishing direct to WordPress, building out my Google News networks and everything else. So I'm really
Yeah,
a big fan of that, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah, yeah, that's a good yeah, I latched onto ZimWriter early on, right when he dropped and,
Yep.
got, an LTD on that, but I bet it's been several months since we've utilized it. There's so many other tools, and I mean, I like ZimWriter, I do, but it's so much easier with my team to use, like, a cloud-based product, rather than the resident, ZimWriter, but,
Yep.
and that's my only, like, why we probably don't lean heavier on Zim is all, but
Yeah, I like having control of my own, my own usage. Kind of pay as you
yeah,
go for my own account.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
one of the reasons I really love it.
yeah, that's good. All right, so tell us a little bit, let me flip over there. I don't know if you wanna talk any more about Authority Amplifier Pro, so your whole, yeah, I don't know if is this still going on, a holiday sale?
Yeah, so
Ooh,
they still buy it at a reduced price. Well,
nice.
maybe the President's Day holiday sale now.
There we go, President's Day sale. There we are.
The
Yeah.
extended President's Day sale.
There we are. I love it. All right, so give us a little bit of, you got all of this stuff. While I got the chef in the kitchen here, give us
So that's kind of the high points, the different course
yeah, you got
modules.
a lot of modules. What do we got? 20 of these things? How long is it going to take a dude like me to get through one of these?
So it's still ongoing, as a matter of fact. I wanted to do it a little different than most of them. The framework's already there for the most part. Everything is there. The
Yeah.
last half is actually me sharing my personal projects. I want it to be really kind of
All
out there
right.
and transparent with my own personal projects. So I'm building
Yeah.
out, niche sites and directory sites and everything else. I'm going to be sharing my actual, how much money am I making with these? What do my metrics look like? Here's access to my Google Analytics for everyone that's in the course and everything. So you can really get
Mm,
an in-depth view of how I build out these sites over the shoulder. So
mm,
I'm at that point now. I've gone through most of the tutorial videos on how I go and approach everything. Drop
mhm,
shipping little, tips and techniques videos throughout the weeks. And now I'm really kind of
mhm,
starting to share my actual personal projects with people. And it's an ongoing process. So it's
mm,
not like you get in there and go through the course and that's it. It's going
mhm.
to be an ongoing process where I plan to bring in guest speakers and everything else. Like I've had
Nice.
people who've used these techniques and are making, 5 figures a month. I have people making 6 figures a
Yeah,
month. I have people who've had exited at 8 figures using some of these things. So
nice.
it
Well,
works.
that's what I love about, you guys that are creating some of these courses and stuff and or a couple of things that you said that I love, which is one, it's ongoing. So you didn't like just kind of put together a package and like, okay, we're done and sell it and move on to the next thing. I love the idea that you're continually updating, putting out additional pieces to it. I think I applaud you for that because you're really investing in a community that
Yep.
way. Um, but I love the idea and what you just said, like, hey, people are making money by implementing these things. And, that's is always good. And hopefully an additional motivation for folks. So many people, and I'm sure you find this, buy your stuff like this, your stuff, and then they're like, well, give it a, 10 days later, they're like, "Yeah, it's on a shelf," and they haven't looked at it again, and, you can't help that, but, it's like, I like seeing people have success on this stuff, so that's
And
solid.
and the way this is laid out, it's kind of like what I explained. There's a different technique for everyone's situation. So within here, there are ways to make money via directories, ways to make money via content marketing sites, via display ads, via
Mm,
product roundups. You want to sell
right,
guest posts.
right.
I'll show an easy way where you can get dozens of guest post requests per day.
Yeah,
You can use this for lead gen for your agency as well. I show you different
yeah,
techniques, but you can actually use this to generate tons of high quality leads or
yeah.
tons of low quality leads doing using these different methods. So
Dude, here's the module right here in the Reddit poll
there
strategies
there
that
you
you
go.
shared.
That's it.
Damn,
So there's
nice.
some expanded information there that really builds upon what I spoke about before.
Yeah, nice. Love it. All right,
That's
I
it.
love it, I love it, I love it. Well, that's great stuff, Brian. I appreciate you, digging in on that. Let's see what else I had a few questions I was gonna hit you on about. Hit you on that. We talked SEO at the beach, what you're doing. All right, cool.
That's your spring
Um,
training. I'll be there.
are you gonna be at SEO spring training?
I'll be there too. Yeah.
Are you speaking at that one?
I'm speaking there to the presenters. Yep. Yeah. Click
Oh
on the
my
link. You'll see me
gosh.
there. Yeah.
Dude, you were just, like, selling yourself out. I didn't even realize you were gonna be no, actually, I did know you were gonna be there. That's one of the reasons I'm like, I wanna get some people on that are speaking at, spring training, so, I love spring training. I think Terry and, Team Samuels put on just a fabulous, um, conference, and so, I was like, "Yeah, let me help." There he is. Look at that
There I
guy.
am.
So
So last
wow.
time I spoke for spring training was the kind of the online version when COVID hit.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting there in real life this time.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we'll have to run into each other. Any, teaser you're gonna be doing, at spring training?
So I am going to be sharing one of the things in my course about the agency lead gen methods that are,
Nice,
kind of, one of the things that people can really use to kind of pump up their own agencies, get your own pipeline going using some of my techniques and
nice.
using Google News to do it for you, building kind of
There we
instant
go.
credibility, instant authority, and leveraging the power of referral,
Mhm.
even if it's a fake referral.
Nice. Even if it's a fake referral.
Yep.
Alright.
As a
Uh,
teaser.
yes. So I'm gonna drop in this link into the chat as well. I don't know. Brian, Brock is out there, teeing you up as well.
Oh, he knows. He knows. Yep.
You got a whole fan base out here. So there's spring training. Go check out the presenters list. You can also get over to their tickets. I'm guessing they probably still. I see Elizabeth in here as well. I wonder if they still have some of their VIP tickets available. I know they were like on their short end of that. And I think if you use this, I'm gonna put it digital. I think if you use, I'm putting this in waiting. If I recall, I think this is my code. If you use this code when buying your ticket, you save $300. If Elizabeth is still letting that one out there, I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, so spring training that's coming up in whew, a little bit more. I don't know. I think on their
Weeks or
homepage they've
so.
got like
Yep.
they got a countdown somewhere on their homepage. So um, I don't know where. I'll flash it up here. I love what they did with these images. I haven't seen the Brian Winum. Do you have your baseball card?
The first one. Yeah, missed it.
Oh, yeah, dang. Where would they had? Here we are. I knew they had a countdown. Yeah, we're one of the sponsors, so we're pretty excited, as well as Mr. Zim himself. So, yeah, awesome. Well, that's good. I'm excited. I'm gonna run into you again there. That'll be fun.
No doubt, no doubt. I will
Uh,
be there.
I'll I'll flash up again just for, uh, the boys. coming up. Right. When are you heading down to Miami?
By the end of next week, I'll be down there enjoying the sun. So I can't wait to get to Miami and then out to Arizona, enjoy some, get out of the New York weather.
Oh, yeah. Uh, I don't know. Right. I'll tell you, I understand New York. I don't know if you guys get some of that snow just in the last week or two, but man, today, I don't know where I'm outside of Cleveland. We're like 50 today. And what the heck is it like? Going to be almost 60 tomorrow. I don't know. I'm loving it.
Yeah, so we're at like 23 degrees today this morning, so it was the opposite.
I know. I know. Yeah. That was us over the weekend though as well. All right. So Elizabeth threw up here.
Well, there we go.
Yes. We get B Winum 24 and 38 digital are still active coupon codes. All right. I love it. All right, Brian, as we closing up shop here, anything you want to leave us? Any special tidbit, secret, slaps on Joe? I don't know. Yeah, we give Joe a hard time, but he's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
Anything left? I do have one last comment though before you
Sure.
set that. I asked Joe the other day after I had you scheduled, I'm like, is Brian as funny like in person as he is online? Because there are some post responses that you put out there in Facebook that I absolutely just roll over. You had a response to somebody, and she was posting on there something about dating or what, I can't remember what it was. And then you put out some kind of like a handle for, like this is my name for it. And it was like, you had to look at it first. I'm like, what? And then I'm like,
Figure it out.
oh, that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
people
Brian
kind of
said,
think people
yeah,
think I'm a little reserved, a little quiet, but once they get to know me, the one thing they do learn about me is I never let a chance for sarcasm pass me by. I'm
oh,
always,
dude.
always trying to break up the day with a joke or something like that.
Dude, you slay me on Facebook with your responses sometime. That one about the DILF though, I just laughed. God, that was just funny. Yeah, Joe said, "Yeah, he's okay." All right, last
He's
tidbit.
usually the butt of my jokes, so
Yeah, yeah. Well, they probably go over Joe's head, maybe. I don't know where.
for the most part, yeah, exactly. He's looking for puzzles,
Uh,
trying to figure out what I said.
yeah, no kidding. All right, so last tidbits of info. Any last
So let me throw another tidbit at you about that survey.
God,
Um,
I love that. That is just fire.
so another way, instead of using just a single survey responses, sometimes I will post a link to an embedded survey. I'll use a tool like Survey Planet or something, where
Oh,
it
yeah.
lets you create a widget. So what I'll do is I will create the article, the URL for the what's going to be the final product when the surveys are done. I'm going to use that URL ahead of time to post a widget on there. I'm sending traffic from Facebook and from Reddit to that URL that's already there. It's already getting traffic even before the article's published, the finished article's published, because people are going there
Mm,
to fill out the survey.
right, right.
So then when the survey is complete, I take down that survey widget and actually post the legitimate article that I
Yeah.
want moving forward. So it's gotten traffic all along. And then within the old survey pages, people are still clicking through the old surveys, clicking through to it, expecting to take a survey, but now it's the actual article
Yeah,
itself. It's already done. So I'm getting
nice.
traffic all
Yeah,
along for people. So
nice.
just another little
Are you doing some paid traffic to those surveys like on Facebook?
no,
No.
you don't have to. I mean, there's groups with tens of thousands of people. There's groups
Yeah.
dedicated just to taking surveys. Find them.
God, that is
That's all they do
crazy.
is take surveys.
Well, again, I think that is a fabulous, fabulous strategy. I'm going to flash it up here. Go check it out. Authority Amplifier Pro is Brian's course. You can go and learn more about some of his content catalyst approach to various things. Brian, man, appreciate you jumping on the show today. Oh, wait, got a question here from Elizabeth. Do you think the Reddit acquisition will affect anything? Bought by an AI. God, geez, I didn't even know that. When did that get announced?
Yeah, just announced yesterday that they've cut a deal
Oh,
where they're
seriously?
selling
Oh,
all
I missed.
the data.
Man, I missed that altogether. No kidding. Wow.
Yeah.
Who bought it? Do you know? Was it like one of
Uh,
the biggies like OpenAI or Mike or,
From what I saw, they didn't name who it was. They just said it was a big AI company, but we're assuming you know who it was. For
yeah,
60 million per year, they're basically using all their data to feed into their
wow,
systems from now on. But
yeah,
from my perspective, what I'm using it for, it's not going to hurt me at all. I mean, like I said, I'm just looking for groups that have tons of participation and just these groups that are literally aimed at taking surveys. So it's not going to hurt
yeah,
me. I'm good.
wow. I'll have to go read that story. I had no idea. That's the first that I saw that.
Yeah.
Wow. Those
Yeah, so
guys must have
they're
cashed out.
they're
What
leasing
was
all
the
their content for 60 million a year to feed into their systems.
wow, what was the deal worth? Do you know?
60 million a year or something like that.
So just as an annual
Yeah.
so it's almost like a subscription. So it wasn't an acquisition as much, but more as a subscription or a licensing agreement.
They get access to all their user generated content to feed back into their, their
Woo.
system.
Wow. Yeah, those guys at Reddit, man, they yeah, well, that's a good way to monetize it finally.
Yeah, definitely,
It
right?
re it really makes some coin. Alright. Good stuff. Alright, well, hey, Brian, thanks for jumping on today, appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in, I always wanna say Flagstaff, in Scottsdale
Yep.
for spring training, and, yeah, we'll go and I'm gonna check out I'm gonna try to employ your survey strategy. I love that idea. I think that is absolutely solid. Yeah.
You got it.
I
You got
might
any
I
questions?
might as well go take advantage of your, President's Day sale on Amplifier. Yeah. I think that could be fun. Alright, brother.
Thanks
Take
for having
care.
me.
Enjoy Miami. Enjoy the sun. Take your suntan lotion.
That's it. Thanks for having me. Bye bye.